Hello, Miss St. Germain here. This video is about letter and sound identification. I love teaching letters and sounds. It's one of the most favorite things that I teach in all of kindergarten. What I love about it is that we're moving past these pre-reading skills. I'm still working on syllables and rhyming and all of the phonemic awareness things, but now I'm teaching a symbol. And I love it. I love it so much. And that this symbol has a sound or several sounds that match to it. I love it. So it is essential. And I think this is one of the steps that most parents really understand. They have to learn their letters and sounds to be able to read. I think that that's a pretty universal truth and a thing that a lot of parents get and understand. A lot of my kids come in with at least some letter and sound knowledge. So what I'm going to focus on today are some things that maybe aren't totally clear. And so I'm going to start by saying that the easiest way to get more of these videos is to subscribe. You'll get an email when I put the next one up. The second thing I'm going to say is that in the video notes, I will have links to my favorite playlists that I use on YouTube to teach letters and sounds or practice letters and sounds. I'm going to have links to some letter and sound matching activities. And I'm going to have links to uppercase and lowercase letter matching activities. And I'm going to have a link to a really great blog post about all different ways to practice letter names and sounds that are multisensory. So that's what's underneath. Those are the things that are underneath in the video notes. And now I'm going to talk about how I teach letters and sounds. So the first thing I do in my classroom is I have a ton of alphabet books. I want to make sure that the alphabet books that I have are all different kinds of alphabet books. I've got superhero alphabet books and construction alphabet books and family alphabet books and plant alphabet books. I have all different kinds because you just don't know what is going to draw a kid's attention. I have 2 baskets filled with alphabet books, and I have kids that go to the same alphabet book every single time. So really it's about getting that high interest. What is going to get this kid? The sounds you're hearing, my husband is over here making spaghetti. So just know that that's happening. So I start with alphabet books. Kids tend to learn and learn more quickly the uppercase letters. And the reason that is because the uppercase letters are all very identifiable. They look different from each other. There's a few that kids get mixed up with, like M and W, because they kind of switch, especially depending on the font that they're in. But generally speaking, kids tend to get that uppercase letter very quickly, or at least first. They learn it before the lowercase letter. Lowercase letters are much more difficult because it's a lot of the same letter shape, but just turned in different directions, like U and N, or W and M again, or the P, B, Q, D situation we have going on. Those are very difficult, but they have to know those lowercase letters because that's most of what they read. Most of the print that they read are lowercase letters. On this page, all but 2 of the letters are lowercase letters, which is why it's so important that once your kid is really comfortable with those uppercase letters, jump in and do those, have them learn those lowercase letters and match them, which is why I link some things below. Being able to say that this is a W and this is a W. Q is so hard. This is a K, and this is a K. It's the same letter. Some of them are pretty great, like K and C are pretty great because they look very similar, but some are really hard, like G. This is a G, and this is a G. Same thing. Same, uppercase, lowercase. You can use that terminology. I also call these capital letters, and I kind of interchange them. But matching that lowercase to uppercase is really important because most of what they actually read and print is lowercase. But it is totally appropriate for them to feel really comfortable with uppercase, and for them, like a lot of kids, when they start writing, write in uppercase, totally fine. We're making that shift in kindergarten, going from uppercase to lowercase, and our comfort level with that. The next thing that I want to talk about is when you're teaching the letter sounds, it is really important to focus on the way that you form your, is that going to be loud? The way that you form your mouth. So when I'm teaching the vowels, especially there's 5 vowels, you have A, E, I, O, U. I always teach the short sound first. When we're really comfortable with letters and sounds, then I'll introduce the long vowel sound, which is just A, E, I, O, U. The short one is A, E, I, ah. So the reason I focus on the way my mouth looks is because it gives them something visual and physical. Also, like when they're doing it, I give them explicit language in how I'm making my ah. Like I'll have them look at my tongue, ah, look at my lips. You do it. Where is your tongue? Is your tongue in the front of your mouth? Ah, no, it's ah. It's kind of in the middle. The one that looks really different is eh. See how my mouth is wide, my teeth are closer together. I get really specific with them, and it helps them when they're generating the sound to remember the things that I'm doing when I'm generating the sound. The next piece is consonants. When I'm teaching consonants, this is something I learned at a Nyhouse training that I spent many, like a couple of weeks at over the course of a couple of years. Nyhouse taught me about the correct way to teach consonant sounds. And once I learned this, I was like, oh my goodness, it changed so much for me. So I'm passing it on to you guys. They focus a whole lot on the correct way to make the consonant sounds. A lot of us say, and this is, if you're doing it this way, it's not a huge deal. Just now you know. When we're learning consonant sounds, I might say k, k, or I might say w, w. Well, W doesn't say wah. That's W-U-H. W says w, w. It's just the way I'm moving my mouth. Let me find another one. F doesn't say f, f, f. F says f. That's it. And where it becomes an issue is if I'm trying to have a kid read the word cat, they might say k-a-t. Well, it's going to be really hard for them to blend that word if they have all these uhs in there. So if they say k-at, you can hear that it's the word cat, which is why it's so important not to add that to the end of the consonant sound. I hope that makes sense. It totally changed the way and I don't think I did it terribly before, but it made me so much more aware of when I'm teaching consonant sounds, what is coming out of my mouth, so that it makes that blending and reading process much easier for them if they don't have this extra attached to it. The last thing about teaching your child and working on letter and sound identification with your child is taking a multisensory approach. I honestly think that everything in kindergarten should be in a multisensory way, but I have a few things. One of the things I use a lot I use just sound alphabet cards, and on one side it has the letter, and on the other side it has the picture that goes with that letter. I use clips a lot in my classroom, and on one side, these are nice, they have a little letter, but you can just use regular paper clips and write the letter. I think on the back, a few of these, I wrote the lowercase letter. So you can use these with flashcards and just clip, like A is for apple. I have another thing that I have. Oh, the kids are playing with it, which is why it's not sitting anymore. Another thing that I have, you guys can see this. Oh, the dog. Okay, I have this big set of letters. You can totally do this with just paper. My mom made these. She's a really good seamstress. But these are just you can kind of see they're pretty large, and they have this kind of like fuzzy blankets on the back, and the front is just a colorful print. So this is what I use to teach my own children. These are what I use to teach my own children letter names. So what I would do is you can see behind me, they're all spread out on the floor. I'll throw them on the floor, and then have them put them, once they get really good, have them put them in order, or throw them on the floor and say, bring me J, or just go pick a letter and bring it to me and tell me what it is. What letter is this? J. And as they get more comfortable and used to the game and used to what the letter names are, as my kids get better, I make sure we start with the letter name, we add the letter sound, and then we add a word that matches the letter name and sound. A lot of the video YouTube is one of the ones, I didn't link it. It's called Phonercise that I use in my classroom. And it is Dr. Jean, and she has them do, it's kind of like head, shoulders, knees, and toes, but she has them do, say the letter name, A, say the letter sound, A, say the letter word, apple, and then say the letter B, B, say the letter sound, B, say the letter bear. the word for the letter. So that is something that we use to practice, and we use our whole bodies to do it. Honestly, I have a multisensory blog post that has lots and lots of different ideas. Anything, chalk outside. I see a lot of people do use those alphabets. I've used those the alphabets noodles that you can buy. You can manipulate them. I've seen people use letter tiles and put them into ice cubes. That's a pretty fun one. There's so many ways to do this, but I would definitely take a multisensory. Oh, I have another one that I use, a multisensory approach. These, I'm pretty sure, are from Target. If they're not from Target, they're from Five Below. And it comes with a little pen, and then you just practice writing the letter. Practice writing the uppercase and lowercase letter. Anything that gets their full body engaged, anything that is a little bit outside of just recognizing a letter on a piece of paper, is going to be engaging for them and memorable for them. So I hope you found this video helpful. Letters and sounds, I think a lot of parents do a really, really great job with this. I hope this kind of just illuminated a few things that maybe you didn't know. Remember, the best way to get these videos is to subscribe below. I hope you found this helpful. I hope everybody is safe and healthy in your house, and I'm going to do another one today about reading levels. So that one's coming out next. Have a good night.